Welcome to Point to Rise, your podcast that gives you permission to dream big, take messy action, and turn your talent into profit while turning your back on perfection. My name is Suzanne Purcell, high performance and mindset coach, former international ballerina, profitable entrepreneur, and founder of Point to Rise, a movement designed to empower dancers. It is my mission to use my own story as an inspiration for today's generation of dancers. And now sit back, stretch, warm up, or sip your coffee and love learning how much it matters to point at yourself first to rise to all that you are capable of. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Point to Rise podcast. I am so grateful that you have tuned in today. Now, I am so excited to share today's guest with you. Her name is Sheina Raskin. She is a social media strategist for dancers. And we are talking a lot about how dancers can promote themselves in a nowadays world that we're seeing, how to overcome like the fear of selling, and what kind of tips and tricks you can use as a dancer to fill your classes or just stand out online. Sheina is a dancer and traveler from Melbourne, Australia. And although she entered the dance world quite late in the industry at 20 years old, she realized that it was her passion and she went to all lengths to make it part of her life. Fast forward through failed auditions and struggling with industry standards, she was teaching and performing on stages around the world. With her background in marketing, she paved a unique path for herself. Now she teaches dancers how they can leverage their own social media so that they can transform their audience into students. So without no further ado, have a listen and enjoy. It is so lovely to have you here. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Awesome. Can I share a story how we met? Because I feel it is something that we don't often do in the industry. And I, even for myself, I'm hesitant. So I think it took us, a week and a few days to actually really record this episode because you reached out and wrote this beautiful email saying that you would like, that you could be an asset to the podcast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this is the first time somebody talks in that language when asking the question. And it just showed me that particularly in the dance industry, we haven't quite yet learned how to really show ourselves and sell ourselves and actually how to serve.
Yes.
You know?
It's so interesting. Yeah. Continue. I like this.
Because it is so important, and we have yet to understand that next step in what it really means, to build a relationship and do it fast. I like it prompted me to right away say, oh, sure, let's have a call. There's like, I am so open. I'm an open book. Like, you can tell me anything and I will find a reason to. But that was a no-brainer for me. And with that said, is that I really appreciate that kind of mindset. And this is why that's why we're talking today. This is why we connected prior. This is why
I love it.
I consume your content now. This is why, yeah.
The internet is a crazy place and there's so much room for so many collaborations and just growing. But I love how you said you're selling and you're serving, because that's where people get stuck when they feel like they're selling. They feel like the second you're selling something, your soul is like gonna die and you're gonna be, it's your passion. Like, how can you sell your soul? But the thing is, you're not selling something, you're serving. And once you overcome that mindset, like, I'm not trying to sell myself when I reach out to you, I'm trying to work together so we can create something and empower people. I'm not selling myself, I'm giving my services. And that's a mindset shift when you feel like, how do I do this whole selling thing? And that's a good, I just love the language you use there. So thank you.
No, no, this is awesome. Thank you for bringing that together because it is the biggest mindset shift um, that you can have, particularly when, dancers stand on stage all the time and that's how they sell themselves. Um,
Mhm.
okay, but we're going ahead. I want to wheel that back in. I would love to share your story, how you um, not became, oh yeah, how you became a dancer. I shared in the intro that it was later for you than what industry standards determine. However,
Mhm.
you had a career and you are still a spring chicken. And here you go, helping dancers already to, promote themselves. But I really want to share your why behind all of this. Why dancing? Why marketing? Like all of that.
Yeah, well, it's all a long process. Like I'm 27 and I'm still in that process, but I do really value keep coming back to that why whenever I feel like I'm zigzagging or coming off. But my first real connection to dance, most people would think like 3 years old when they're putting on their tutu. I was out playing with the boys in the parks, climbing trees, like doing all those types of stuff. I never took a dance lesson. I think I wanted to. Like, I think I asked my mom, or I think in the back of my mind I wanted to, but it wasn't something that my community did. Like, it just wasn't part of my family doing extracurricular activities. So I never really asked for it and it didn't cross my mind. I was a dance captain in high school, but I never saw it as like a potential career. Like I just was like, okay, it's a good release of energy. It was fun to be on stage, got a lot of compliments, got a lot of applause, felt good. But my real why when it came to dancing, what happened in Africa, I love to travel. I love to explore cultures and communities. And after I graduated university, I went on a solo backpacking trip in Africa. And there, my mind was blown coming from like the whole education system. Like you go to school, then you go to university, then you get a job, and then I'm just like, okay. I went to travel, and when you're traveling, like my mind is open, and I saw a different culture and people that live and people that are really, really connected to whatever they do. And for me, I fell in love with the dance. The people just, it's part of who they are. The second they come out of the womb, like they're 2 years old or they're 9 years old, everyone's expressing like their story and their history and their culture and their community and their families through music and dance. And it was so humbling and so special. And I promised myself this is dance, like this is my future. Like I don't care what's going to stop me, I don't care what's going to push me away. These people are living so truly to the fundamental of their soul. Like I don't need to sit in a society and like just keep climbing a ladder and keep getting unhappier and happier. I want to do what these people are doing and really connect to what that fire inside of me, that passion, that feeling that sometimes you get and then you're just like, oh, that's nothing, move it away, or that's not what people expect from you, so push it aside. Like no, let that fire burn and follow it. So I followed it and came all the way home to Australia and did some auditions and thought I would always get complimented as a dancer. It came naturally to me, but the skill wasn't there. And I was doing these auditions for companies and they were just, I think they just laughed in my face. Like, who does this 21-year-old girl think she is, that she doesn't even know the basics of the techniques? Like she doesn't understand it. She might have like movements or grooves, but like that's not for us. And I got a huge culture shock when I realized like passion and the industry was like very separate, and I had to figure out how to combine that. So that's pretty much my journey, and I'm still on it.
So how did you get into marketing though?
So
Like,
I studied marketing in university. It's always
oh,
been something that I loved. The university kind of focuses more on the business and the whole business plan and the structure and that. But when I went out on my own and I started freelancing, I really enjoyed the creative side, the creating videos, creating for brands, connecting. So I kind of grew through social media, freelancing and growing, creating my own content, creating for clients and agencies. And I kind of separated marketing and social media up until COVID when I realized, okay, I have dance as a passion. I have social media as a really strong skill, and I have a whole community of people in front of me that are lost the biggest things that they had in their lives. So I really wanted to connect them to serve that community. So it's a whole long process and it doesn't stop. And I'm excited to see where it takes me. But right now, what I do is I serve dancers through social media to help them turn their audience into customers, into students. So nice full circle there.
Nice. First cycle. Awesome. Gosh, so many ways we could go right now. Let's um, I really because you also talk a lot about mindset, and
Mhm.
you already know that, success is 80% mindset, 20% skill. So from what you have seen so far, where is that one, what's that one mindset, um maybe not mistake, but belief that we have that might be holding us back from,
Yeah.
like, completely opening ourselves up to the new world that we're living in. What do you think that is?
Yeah, that one's crazy because I speak to so many people and so many different types of dancers and so many backgrounds. And it so often comes back to the mindset of numbers. Like, this person has 50,000 followers. Obviously, they can sell online. Obviously, they can teach courses. Obviously, they can work with brands. I'm just this. I'm just that. First things first, delete the word just from your vocabulary. Like, I read that somewhere in emails and writing and talking. Never use the word just. It always makes yourself smaller. It's not necessary. You're not just anything. Second of all, that's what I really like, to focus on that mindset shift and have those transformations when people be like, wow, it's not about the numbers. It's really, I don't know how I can say this 10,000 times. And until the person has that transformation in their mindset themselves, they can realize it's really not about the numbers. Of course, you need an audience of something, but people think you need to have 10K plus or 5K or need to be like them or need to be like them. It's crazy because you have so much potential. Just like, even if you're teaching a class and there's 10 people in your class, like, that's a lot of students. That's a lot of reach. That's a lot of people you're touching. Like, I used to teach in Australia. I had a class, and like, when you're teaching like a real live person class, it's a room full of people, and every single person has their background, their history, their story, their skills, their struggles. And then when you come online and you see the 10 likes, and you just see like the number 10, and it just looks like, oh, and you feel sad and you feel like only 10 people. But if 10 people came to a class, or 10 people were listening to what you said, or 10 people bought your class, like bought something from you, like, that's an incredible feeling. So take away like the number of the likes, and try to remember them as human beings. And it's not really about those thousands, it's about those individuals. So that's probably one of the biggest mindset that I see like every single day. So
Do you I think, like, personally, we forgot in, and I'm putting a blanket over the whole industry, that we've forgotten somewhere, somehow, somewhat, to actually really truly serve.
mhm.
And I feel that when we forget who we're doing it to, then the numbers matter. When we coming from a place of, hey, I'm going to put this class out here, and I am grateful for every single person that is going to join, because I know I'm going to make a difference in their life, in their day, in their, I don't know, in their training. However, I can help them to grow to where they want to go matters. And that kind of perspective, this kind of thinking, comes from a place of service versus, I need numbers, I need to
Yeah.
achieve, I need to get to the goal to matter, to be worthy. Um, would you agree? Like, am I going too far?
Yeah, but for some reason, like, I don't like blaming the system, but sometimes it comes up. Like, it's very much part of the dance culture that you're growing up to perform rather than serve an audience. Like, you're growing up to be on stage, and like, that performance level is your value or your success. Whereas when a real like a dance educator really wants to like give off information, they're not unless they're a performance coach, like they're not trying to tell you how to perform, they're trying to give over their heart into
Mm.
skill and rhythm and body, like they're trying to give over that information, they're not trying to like make you into I obviously some parts are very performance focused. That's why I don't like to generalize, but I feel like a lot of the dance world, like the focus is on the performance rather than that intimate connection that you personally feel when you're performing. Do you hear what
Oh,
I'm saying?
oh gosh, yes, 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 yes. It's, and I'm not demonizing it, but this is what
Yeah,
it has turned into. It is this trying to hit the numbers because we need the audience in order to survive. We
yeah,
need this next donor in order to survive, to put the next performance on, or to pay the dancers. And it has become this chasing of something that has absolutely nothing to do with the purpose anymore. I think we've
yeah,
forgotten the purpose altogether. Like if you ask dancers, professional dancers, if you ask ballet companies, their leadership, what's your purpose? What's your North Star? What's your superpower? There is, it should be shooting out of them like lightning, and
yes,
that's not happening. When I ask dancers, what's your superpower? I can turn really good. And it's that next step, let's get out of the 80s of that style that we have accumulated. It is 2021. It is time to step into that next version of the
yeah,
arts without feeling that we're losing something. And this is where I feel social media it's such a big part of it. This is how you build a community. This is how you build your future community. This is how you ensure that it's, still going to prosper and to evolve versus to get stagnant and put their roots even deeper into the ground without being
yeah.
transferable. Okay. I social media. We're gonna talk about social media because you and I could just
Let's do it.
fly away right here. Um, okay.
Turning that off.
We both agree that social media is a really important part in today's life.
100%.
If you are a performer, if you are a dancer, if you're a teacher, and you want to not maybe make a name, but want to have the ability or learn other abilities than making money through standing on stage, then this is your best bet. I feel personally um, to find more knowledge in social media on how and what you can do. Um, now, what do you when you teach your
Mm.
clients? Can you walk us through, not in detail, but like an overview,
Yeah.
where you start and how you do that so that they actually do get more kids or clients into their classes or programs or whatever that might look like?
Yes, of course. So I have a very clear like roadmap, like step by step that really helps you go through the levels to reach a lot of people's final goal is to reach a passive income stream or to reach a place that you can be making money while you sleep. And that sounds like the biggest, like the highest level you can reach by sleeping while you're making money. Yeah, get
Can I
rich fast.
interject because this
Yes,
is such a big topic that I am so passionate about because artists have never been taught that that's possible,
yes,
right? It is so outside of their belief system that we're at this point, or well, that's not for you, you have to be a business person in order to do that, or you have to be an entrepreneur. Well, dancers are entrepreneurs. Like an
yeah.
entrepreneur is not a title, it's a mindset. It's
Yeah, it's funny you said that because we have actually a community of dancers, dance professionals that make money online, and our group is called the Dance Entrepreneur Club. So it's open doors, but it's all about supporting the dance community and supporting each other on that quest towards financial freedom and towards getting out of that struggling artist mindset, because that's not necessary. There's so much opportunities out there, and the struggling artist mindset is just created onto us to be like, you're an artist, you have to struggle. It doesn't work like that at all.
You
So
don't have
that's
to
cool.
struggle. No.
No, you have
Okay.
to work hard, but
Yeah,
not
but
struggle.
not struggle. Exactly. Okay. Do you think you can dip back
Yes,
into? Yes.
sure. Let's.
Thank you.
So we have a very quick mind, like a not quick, but a 5-step roadmap to get you from A to B, to get you from struggling artist mindset to passive income. A lot of people think it's a get rich fast, or you have to have a lot of followers, or you have to have a viral video, or you have to like watch all these YouTube videos that say grow 1,000 followers overnight by doing this and this and this. Like, no, none of that. It's a step-by-step strategy. Just like if you have a business plan, just like if you're creating something from scratch, you build on one level, you get good at that level, you build the next level, you get good at that level. Nothing takes overnight. It's like a stack of cards, and you build and you get stronger, like a really strong house. The foundations are strong. So what we work on, the first thing is that fire inside, that passion, that why, that deep why, because again, a lot of people are stuck with like, what is that why? Like how to get how to get anywhere is to start by your why, like your fire. And then you build into different steps that eventually you reach to content strategy. So once you have your why, then you have your niche. So niches are your specific skill, your specific talent, what people keep asking you questions about, what you can serve to your community. So once you have your why, you have your niche, then you can go into making money online. So how do you make money online? You're solving a problem or a desire of your audience. So again, you can't get from A to B, you can't get to level 3 making money online if you haven't done 1 or 2. So a lot of people skip straight to number 3, like, okay, I have 3,000 followers, I'm going to collab with a brand and make money. Like, you might have a lot of spikes and you might have a viral video here or a really good connection here. But if you really want to grow up to the passive revenue, like if you want your revenue to look like this rather than like up down. So setting those clear foundations are going to make you stronger. So in step number 3, when you're monetizing, the biggest thing is your content strategy. So I know you asked your audience a lot about content strategies and where they're struggling with on social media. We'll talk more about those. That's a huge hot topic. But again, it's something that you can work on now. But when you set those foundations strong and then you come there, you're going to have people coming into your DMs and people asking you rather than you reaching out to everyone else.
Yeah.
Right. So that's step number 3, monetizing online. So that could look like creating one-on-one classes, teaching online, some sort of revenue stream when you're giving a service to your audience and they're paying you with money. So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is taking that upper level. So once you have that community, you really understand who you're serving, what you're serving. You have some sort of transformation you're taking your audience on. So let's say like you're a belly dance teacher and you specialize in postpartum mums celebrating their bodies. Like the more specific you are, the more people are going to be coming into your DMs for you. So let's say you've done a bunch of one-on-one classes. The next steps, step number 4 would be to scale that and build that into like a group class or into a course or into something that you can sell to more than one people, so you're not trading time for dollars. So again, you need every single step to really nail step number 3 to get to step number 4 to create that course, to create that next step. And then step number 5 is once you've created that next step and you've done it, trial and error, repeat, analyze, done all the levels in step number 4, you can build to a passive revenue stream. So that means putting something on evergreen or making assistance so that the money's coming in without you putting in the daily work as you would back in level 3. So a little bit of a ladder to success, but the more patient and the more thorough and the more you do that process, the better you see results. Or the bigger that curve will be rather than the ups and downs. So that's pretty much a quick summary of the roadmap that I go through with my clients. Um, but yeah, a lot of people get stuck with I want this to this. I want this overnight. I saw this girl go viral and now she's working with this brand. That's what I want. So it's more than just working through the roadmap, because a lot of it's actually working through the mindset and like, hold on, like let's go through this and see like what you can give and how we can grow that, rather than let's get rich overnight, because those aren't my customers, those aren't the people that I work with. So yeah.
Um, you know what that reminds me of? It is no different than dancing. You can't do big jumps if you
Yeah.
don't know how to do a plie and a tendu. And it's exactly the same thing. So if anybody ever questions their ability to be able to follow those steps, you're doing it every day in the studio. It is
Yeah.
nothing else but plie, tendu, releve. Same thing.
Same
Just
thing, different.
same thing. Yeah. Just, you just master these three steps basically, and you'll be able to do all the other things that really are born from these three steps.
I love how you say that, because that's how I explain like content strategy as well. Like if you're putting on a recital or you're putting on a performance, like you don't just rock up on the day and be like, I'm gonna improvise because that, like some people obviously do, but like I'm gonna improvise because that's what I want. Once you create that strategy, you have the music prepared, you have the setup, you have the backdrop, you have the dancers, you have your choreography. Your performance will get a crazy applause and everyone's going to come up after for your autograph. But if you just rock up and there's not even an audience there and you're just like, why is no one answering me? Why is no one asking for my autograph? Why is no one asking me for classes? Well, put together that strategy and it will come for, like, you do the work, you're used to it, you're a dancer, you're a performer. Just put that into your social media or put that into your business plan and you'll see how it works. So I love how you said that. That's cool.
Um, yes, 1000%. So let's talk a little bit about techniques. So one of the feedback that we received from the questions that I'd asked the audience, or my specific audience, was that the hardest thing that they're struggling with is actually getting people into watching classes or getting clients. Let's just like overall, but getting clients basically, if it's for classes or one-on-one, how to do teach it, whatever that
Yeah.
might be, that is the biggest struggle. So would you be able to give like one or two things that they could be asking better questions on why that
Sure.
is?
Sure. Yes. Engagement is something that I love that your audience already understands the difference between followers and engagement, because that means they're already 10 steps ahead, because they understand it's not about having 1,000 people watching your stories. It's about having a couple, at least a handful, that actually engages with your interactions, because that means they're possibly a future client or a future student or a future this. So engagement is way more powerful than followers or those types of metrics.
Right.
So first of all, that's amazing to start off with, to understand that engagement is important. Second of all, we'll talk a bit about a few strategies, but I also wanted to provide you guys, anyone listening, we're going to link in the description below a checklist. So if you're ever getting stuck with, why is no one engaging with my content? What do I do? I've created a checklist that's got at least 10 different points, so you can always come back and revisit different ideas that you're getting stuck on. So if I don't cover everything today, that will always be available to you. So just putting that out there. Engagement is huge. So you can check up on your insights. Like if you have a business account, you can check like how your engagement is interacting, or you can even see like if you're posting a video, how many people comment, or if you're posting an Instagram story, how many people are engaging with it. First of all, I like to say, give people an easy way to engage. So make it easy for them. The simpler something is for someone, the more they're going to do it. Like if it's clickable. So something like asking questions, like you might want engagement. You want your people to respond to you or interact with your account. So use Instagram's features are literally designed to get engagement, like questions, polls, the stickers, the sliding stickers, like if they're happy or sad, and you can use that depending on your niche. So you can, let's say, we'll bring the belly dancer example back. Like you can do a whole questionnaire once a week about body confidence and how people are feeling with their bellies and having their bellies out. Or you can do um, a, a like a yes or no and ask people what type of content they want to see from you. Ask them like, do you want my next video to be a tutorial or to be a costume review? Or do you want my next thing to be this or this? So give your audience a quick yes or no, or a quick answer question, or a quick slider. That's a good way to get like easy interaction. Another way is to always ask for their feedback. You might be like, why is no one, like, let's say the example on stage, like you just did a whole performance but you quickly ran off, you didn't give them an opportunity to clap. Like give them opportunity to answer you. So if you posted a video, ask them, did you like the techniques I taught, 1, 2, or 3? Like let's say you do a reel, let's say the belly dancing teacher does a reel of 3 tips for a beginner belly dancer, and then in the reel, which one was the favorite one for you, which one was the hardest one for you. Give them a platform to answer, like ask them questions so they can respond to you, instead of just, why is no one responding? Like those are 2 quick tips I would suggest to start with. One more bonus one, because it's like the real estate capital of your Instagram, would be your bio. So really invest into your bio. And again, call to action. Give someone a quick, easy way to connect to you just from your bio. So having a quick, your full name, what you do, who you serve, that comes back to like your why and your niche. And then a call to action, like give someone a way to connect with you. Say, DM me for 5 tips of this, or put a link of like, take my survey, or watch my class, or take this free class. Give them something to do. Give them a way to engage with you. So those are quick 3 ways to like boost your engagement. But again, I've linked a whole checklist for you to go through to help you stay on track whenever you feel like, no one's answering me. So I got a whole list.
Awesome.
We can go on forever.
Yeah, I'm gonna have that. Look at that.
Yes,
I have a different question.
of
So
course.
I see a lot, quite honestly, a lot, that people don't engage in the comments, for example, that are being given to them. Like, let's say they post a picture of them or a video turning, I don't know, 15 times. And you have like 100 comments, and they're not taking the time to go down and to either thank or to just reply and give back the love, I would say, that has been given to them. Do you, I don't I don't want to say that that's wrong, but I want to understand why that is. Why we're
Yeah.
complaining or saying, on one way, I want to put myself out there and I want to be seen, but then I'm not giving back to the people that actually see me. Like, what kind of a mindset is that, and how can we shift that?
Mm. I think that person would probably need to come back to their why again. And if they're on social media, to be a dance influencer. So their their goal or their strategies would be a lot different than a dance educator. A dance educator might want to interact with people on the level of potential students. A dance influencer might want to interact and prioritize connections with brands and influences and collaborations. So wherever your priorities are, that's probably where you should put your focus. But again, if you're a dance influencer, remember the reason how you got those numbers is by you nurturing your community. So even if your goal is to create really good content and connect to potential brands, you're connecting to brands to serve your community with information of products or services. So you want your community to eventually buy from you, you have to nurture them. But
Right.
another thing I see,
So,
and that personally happens, sorry.
no. This is just so important. like in any kind of business, if we want people to buy from us, and as an influencer, that's your job, you promote a product that can then be bought and you get a percentage of,
Yeah.
is to nurture your community, meaning like you engage with them, you give them love, you give them content that they can learn from. So they actually are able to relate to you and want to buy the things that are in your house, basically.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, that's the beauty also of having a smaller account, because a larger account, a lot of comments can be ungone, or a lot of DMs, and you're like, who do I respond to? How do I prioritize? Or you need a team, or you need people helping you respond, because a lot of people don't want their life to be taken up by the screen time. They want to have a life, they want to create, and they might have an incredible overflowing amount of positive, or sometimes unfortunately negative, but they have that. And to balance that can be its own struggle. So if you do get overwhelmed with like, oh no, I don't have enough followers, just be happy that you have an amount that you can physically interact with, like virtually interact with, because some people really struggle with replying to DMs and replying to comments. Also, like some comments are not, I'm not going to say not worth replying to, but like someone commenting on your technique and your skill, and really interacting with you, and there's a difference between someone posting fire emoji or clap 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 or this, like it's not meaningful and it's not a engaging interaction. And if you have to prioritize the types of comments you're answering to, someone in that position would take their precious time that they have online, because they might have a lot of comments on a lot of different platforms, and actually comment to the people that are engaging with them as a person, rather than just a, a public figure or a cool icon to follow. So I think that might also come into that mindset. But then again, people get lost there. I'm like, I have so many followers, I don't care. So there's that huge, there's a balance like everywhere in life. So yeah.
well, can we get to that I have so
Yes.
many followers, I don't care kind of mindset? Um, the most successful people in this world, and you know, we all identify success as something different, but they all have in common that who they're influencing, they mean the world to them, because
Yes.
they don't believe that they made themselves or they got into the position that they're in because of them, but because of all the learnings that they've had and the people that walked alongside with them and helped them to become more. And that is where, particularly in the dance industry, the mindset of community, I feel, can be readjusted, because we always talk about audiences, right? We want to have a full house. We want to get our audience into the seats. We need more butts in the seats. That is literally the language that I'm hearing over and over again, especially from the higher ups. And if we were to shift that in actually building community and nurturing them, then we would ensure more seats in the butts, because they don't only come because of prestige and elite and whatever that is, but because they want to support, because they feel like they're being served.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between someone that just rises and falls, again with that picture, like a big up, like a viral video, and then no one cares, and then a really good connection, and no one cares. Like that up and down, like if that's what you're striving for, like those really high highs and those lows, like that's an imbalance. And if you're not serving your people, or if you're not doing the strategy and going through the process and really giving value to your audience, the people that build you. So those where the downs come. So I think it's that road to success. Some people see it as like picturesque, shining lights, up, 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 and then we, and they wonder why they have the struggling artist mindset, or they're struggling to pay rent when one day they're on stage with Nicki Minaj. It's like that really roller coaster that doesn't have to happen. So that, it depends which path you want to take. Some people like the flashy, and some people want the long lasting, the loyal seats, and the people that come every single time, no matter what, as opposed to a really good celebrity you have that rises. And comes for one show and doesn't, and then the next show like flops. Like you wanna balance rather than those ups and downs. So I think that's a mindset that people can get trapped into because it's fun and it's flashy and it's like it's mesmerizing. It's like, wow, I could do that. Or like when you're up on stage and that adrenaline can be a bit distracting. So that's why always coming back to that why and be like, this is why I'm here. Or these are the people that I'm for. That really grounds you and then helps. That's where you see the successful people continuing to rise and you see a lot of people falling along the way. That's the difference between those two types of people and those two types of mindsets. So choose which one you want to be in.
Yeah, you get to choose. That's right. Question. I learned that my particular audience prefers Instagram over anything, like even over TikTok, over YouTube for learning or consuming content. Now, I have been taught during my entrepreneur journey, go where your audience is, obviously. Um, and I see so many, particularly in the dance industry, having a YouTube channel and being on TikTok and then on Instagram and what else? They did in like 10,000 Facebook groups. And I feel that energy, like for me, that energy is scattered everywhere and you get where you perhaps want to go a little slower. I'd love to hear your thought
Yeah,
on
well,
that.
I also along my entrepreneurial journey, that's what a lot of the teachers and the mentors and all the experts say: stick to one stream, like stick to one thing that you're going to do consistently, and then one or two, and then don't give the other ones as much priority. But still, a lot of people are posting here and posting here, and even for myself, I'm like, but dances are on TikTok, but I need to be here. I've felt that overwhelmed so many times because there is so much, there's so much to be on. There's so much potential, but it's like the saying, when you serve everyone, you serve no one. Like if you're scattered and if you're everywhere, you're not going to have the same influence as if you really build and grow in one and concentrate. But that doesn't say that you can't dabble around. Like I recommend people to just dabble around, get your feet wet, but like stick to your one that you're going to be consistent with. Like there's nothing wrong with like trying this out, doing this, but don't get distracted by it. Like don't get stuck one day, all of a sudden, Facebook, one day, Instagram, one day, YouTube. People won't know where to find you. So have your place that you know, like your people know you're there every day or you're there once a week and you're giving them something new every single time and you're consistent. That's what consistency comes in. Just have a place that people know you and they come back to you and you build up your credibility. So whether that's a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or this, and then use the other platforms to just have fun or enjoy or reach a new thing, but don't make those your priorities because that's when the overwhelm can hit in and like I have to do this. I deal with a lot of clients like I have to be here. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm like, you're doing a lot. You just think you have to be everywhere, but you really don't. You don't even need to post every day. Like a lot of people have all these ideas like how they're not doing enough and they're not in all the right places. Like just choose your place. It's okay to dabble and to look and to spend 10 minutes a week here and 10 minutes there and enjoy. Like no one's a police over you, but when you figure out where you want to stay, do that consistently. That would be my,
Yeah.
after listening to a bunch of mentors and figuring out what it is for me, it might be different for you. So figure out where you enjoy most of your time, where your audience enjoys you, and then be consistent with that. Try at least.
Yeah, awesome. Um, do you have thoughts on Clubhouse? I'm gonna
Ah,
throw that towards you. I'm just
yeah.
curious.
I dabbled on there. Again, right now my focus is very much on my um, connection with my clients, my one-on-ones. That's the phase of business I'm in, and I'm very aware of that, and I'm very focused on my stage where I'm at. So my goal right now isn't to be everywhere, isn't to be the biggest one everywhere. Of course, there's a lot of mentors and there's a lot of good information to learn, and once a week here. I'll schedule like a talk that I might like I follow someone and they might be in there, or I'll dabble in there, I'll dabble out there, but I know exactly where I want to be this at this time, and I know who where my audience wants me to be, and I know what type of information they want. So I'm not looking for other places right now, but maybe there'll be a time in my business where I will have a bigger team, or I'll have more people, or I will have enough clients to or too many clients, or wherever I'm in at that stage, to be like, okay, I'm ready to spend a little bit more time to dive into something deeper. But again, like I love podcasts, but I know I don't have the bandwidth to create my own. So my goal right now is to reach out to podcasts and to speak on that platform, but I don't need to have my own to be able to dabble in that field. Like I don't need to have a huge room on Clubhouse to be able to you benefit from the platform, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Um, just one thought on Clubhouse though.
Yes.
I don't I don't like to be anywhere and everywhere either.
Mhm.
Um, I have found I schedule in every week 2 hours for
Yeah.
Clubhouse, and I am starting to make connections to just people, and or I'm bringing on and inviting other coaches into the room to provide more value for dancers, particularly. And so we've done it for 2 weeks now, and I'm just going to keep going because
Yes.
particularly dancers don't really use their voice much, and it's just another tool that can, you know, get outside of your comfort zone. Like if you want to be an influencer, if you want to be making a passive income online, then come and train your voice in a safe space. Like that,
Mhm.
that's my thinking around it. Um, I'm also in a mastermind full of coaches and entrepreneurs that are have been in that mindset for a long, long time, and they have had a huge success in like building their entire business on Clubhouse, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah,
And
without
you'll have that
any.
with TikTok, and you'll have that with podcasts, and you'll have
Yeah,
that with
exactly. So
Facebook.
whatever
So
works. Yeah.
yeah. I love that. I love like I saw even on Clubhouse there's this huge like dance community of like people talking about dance and using the voice platform. And as you said, like dancers don't generally like use that muscle. So it's such a great place to be if that's a fear for you, if that's something, not even a fear, but if that's a skill you're looking to grow, if that's a community you want to be around, like there's, I always just get excited by how much opportunity and connections and how vast the world is and how much of the, like how many people you can connect with. So it's just an incredible place to be if that's where you're at, if that's what you're ready for. And if you're the type of person that you know that you would get overwhelmed by it, or if you're not ready for it in your personal journey, wait, it's not going away. It's brand new. So take your time with it. That's what I'd recommend.
I love it. Um, Last question.
Yes.
What would you tell? Actually, not last question. Let me. I want to travel back. Um, can I ask you who your mentors are? Because I have learned that it is imperative, at least for me, to continuously learn and have people in my life that know way more than I do. And I can learn from them so I can then go and teach what I've taken out of that to other people. I find it is so imperative that coaches have coaches. Like always thought,
Yes.
the best teachers are also the best students. So that's why I'm asking the question. I
Yeah.
have a feeling that not many do, but I feel like I actually am not embarrassing you when I ask you that question.
Oh no, I think like the road for success is so paved and it's so walked on, like it's such a clear path because so many people have taken that before us. It's only like logical to like take the path of a mentorship because they've literally done that and been there, and they will not hold your hand and do the work for you, but they'll take away a lot of stress and a lot of time wasting and a lot of searching on Google where to find free information when you can just get it all in one, or get expert information. And I really value investing into coaching and into programs and into courses. I took a really good course last year with Amy Porterfield. I love her.
And I love her.
I listen to her podcast almost every single morning. I don't even know how I haven't finished her archive. Like, that's how long she's been around, and just be able to learn from her and to learn from all the people she interviews, I feel like the biggest pleasure, and it's an honor. I really enjoy Jenna Kutcher. That was my introduction to Amy Porterfield. And so then all the guests she has, often they become mentors of mine. I've actually joined like looking into this new like entrepreneur club for like new entrepreneurs. So it's called the Rad Connector, and I've really enjoyed their workshops. But I definitely, to understand like the investment that goes into coaching, like even putting down, or also Vanessa Lau, I really like her as well. She is from YouTube and Instagram, but the mindset of putting down money that grows, as opposed to saving money so that you can like hoard, like, is such a different mindset. Like, that differentiates the successful to the stagnant. Like, when you put your money, your hard earned sweat, blood and tears, into something that you'll see the result, and you understand that you'll see the result within you doing the work, as opposed to holding on to that money and finding everything for free and figuring it out and not trusting what people say and getting stuck in that I'll do it all myself, as opposed to I will get all the help I can get. That's where I think that's the huge big difference between a successful entrepreneur and an entrepreneur in the making, or an entrepreneur in the head but not in the action. So I love that question. I always like to hear where people get their information from, because I'm a vessel for information. Like, I'm teaching, but I'm learning all day. If I'm not learning something new in the day, like, I'm just like, teach me something. I want to learn. Like, it's exciting, and that's how you grow, I think.
Oh, I know so. And I want you all, I never said this before, you need to go back to the beginning of this topic and actually listen to this again, because it is so important. I just recorded a podcast around this: stability
Yeah.
versus ability, saving versus investing. We are our biggest investment. And as dancers, particularly, I'm not including myself anymore. They don't get that way. They think they have to be perfect, and therefore investing in themselves is, well, why? And then the whole unworthiness that is bred into the industry also holds them back. Fun fact: my husband had to buy me my first ticket to the Bliss Project because I could not hit the button. I could not. I was like, no, I'm not worth it. I don't want to take this $1,000 away from the family. I'm going to leave you for 3 days. Oh my God, all these women, I can't do it.
Wow. Kudos to your husband.
Absolutely changed my life. 2.5 days completely changed everything in my life. And that is it's not a high risk investment. It's 2.5 days, $1,000. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It really changes the value for money, because like, you'll hold on to like this certain amount of money, and then that money, it just goes in the blink of an eye, and then you let go of this amount of money, and it just grows into this huge wealth of knowledge and information and opportunities. Like, I used to travel, and I used to have like the saving mindset. And I was a freelancer, so I would do social media as a freelancer. And I struggled a lot with like, I need a budget, I need to save because I want this lifestyle. And then when I started educating myself in entrepreneurship, I let go of all that hard earned sweat, blood, and tears money, and I let that grow. And all of a sudden, like, years of work of just budgeting, struggling, finding clients, coming back home, saving, budgeting, and all of a sudden it's just coming to me. Like, I put it out, and now it's coming to me, and it's like, but I feel like you have to go through that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, you do have to go through that. You know what another holdback was for me was the, oh my God, if I invest money in myself, is it really going to return?
Yeah.
Because now I can no longer blame anybody else. Like what I was so good at as a dancer, I'm expecting everybody to give me what I needed because that's how the industry is kind of set up, right? Like if you're not
Yeah.
picked, you can pick yourself, but does that really make a difference? It does, in my opinion, but we're not there yet. We don't think that way yet. Um, and that's where my other hang up was in investing myself. Oh my gosh, I put down $1,000, so that better produce something.
Yeah. It,
And
it gives
what
an
if
extra
not?
level of pressure.
Yeah. Well, it was more the, oh my gosh, I'm gonna, for the first time in my life, actually really truly have to take the responsibility for myself and my actions and my beliefs and where this is all coming from.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally hear you.
And I love that you said like that you putting down that money gives you the ownership. This is a totally different topic, but I see dancers totally underselling themselves because that their issue with the relationship with money is like money is bad, or I don't deserve it, or I'm not good enough, or all those issues with money that you're underselling yourself. When someone puts down money for you, or when you have like a price, then your credibility goes up. So you're actually investing in yourself when you give yourself a higher price range. Pricing is a whole nother ball game, but like when you value yourself enough to price your class more than a Starbucks coffee, people will treat your class more than a Starbucks coffee, and they will actually finish it or take action, or you know what I mean? That's a whole different topic, but I like how you brought the example with money, and it's interesting. You can talk for hours.
Oh man, we could go on, sister. Nice. Thank you for bringing that up. It is such
Yeah,
a big issue though in the arts, don't you think?
a
Like the
hundred
whole
thousand million percent.
money topic, we don't even talk about it. We just go and chase it all the time without even looking at the other possibilities of how can I create it. Um,
Yes.
hey, with everything that you know right now, what would you tell your 17-year-old self right now? Like one thing, just to give her a little nudge.
Listen to the voice inside of you. Let yourself feel whatever you're feeling, and let it guide you, because the truest form of any truth is like right here. Not what someone else says, not what expectations are, not what people want from you, not from how you feel like you have to be. It's right inside your heart, inside your power, inside your soul. So
Hmm. Amen to
hey,
that.
yeah,
Yeah. Honey, thank you so much. That was such a beautiful conversation. I
yes.
definitely for myself could keep going. Um, we are going to put in the show notes everywhere everybody can find you. However, this is your time to plug. Go ahead. Spotlight is on you.
Plug in.
Da, da.
Awesome. So I can be found on Instagram mostly, Sheina Raskin. Also as well, YouTube, Sheina Raskin, Sheina, because a lot of people get stuck with the spelling there. And our really awesome Facebook group that is always open for dance entrepreneurs. So that's called the Dance Entrepreneur Club. So whether you have an idea, or you already have a business, or you're interested in social media marketing, that's always open. And again, the link for all those engagement strategies will be in the description. And this was super fun. It was so exciting to speak to you all about so many different topics, but it was really cool. That was fun.
Thank you for being here and thank you what you're doing. I think it's so important. Yes.
My pleasure.
All right, my love. You have a good rest of your day. Mwah. Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys
Bye
for
for
tuning
now.
in. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. If this message resonates with you, please pass it on to someone who needs to hear this right now. And if you like what you've heard, your feedback will go a very long way. If you just take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, that would mean the world to me. Till next time, point at yourself to rise to all that you
are capable of.